Well, that's a really good question. I mean, my advice is a student from scratch cannot get everything that involves a Kubernetes cluster. I mean, it's in my opinion, you require having professional experience at least. That's a nice something nice to have because understanding all the details and everything from how the nodes work, how everything is connected, how all the services are deployed, so everything it's tied together, requires not only have some degree.
Yeah.
So you require really experience on struggling with servers, knowing how to troubleshoot a service inside the server itself, how to use journalctl, for example, systemd to get the logs from a service. But I suggest always start with the CKAD, because that certification is more focused on a development part of the Kubernetes world. So that's really nice to have before starting with the CKA. Also, it helped me, for example, to lose the stress and the nervous to get the to get the certification, the CKA. That it seems at the beginning it seems more important, but depends on what on your work, what is focused on. I got both certification because I think it's a really nice path to follow. The next certification will be the CKS, the security part of this Kubernetes world. So yeah, but I spent a lot of time practicing apart from my daily tasks that I'm involved for, on different kinds of Kubernetes clusters. So yeah, it helped me a lot having this experience. Yeah.
Okay, good. And Neko, anything for you to add regarding experience, things that you say it's necessary to do this, or I wouldn't take the exam if you haven't done that? Anything you would want to comment there?
Well, what I mentioned at the very beginning is that for me it was a big change. You know, you know, the mindset, or I don't know how to say it, but that you have to be really thinking in a Kubernetes way, for sure.
Okay, and so can you, let's take a little bit further. What does that mean to be thinking in a Kubernetes way?
Well, this goes beyond Docker. You know, even if you work with containers, but this is way beyond Docker, because it's not also orchestration. I mean, like we mentioned, we have this storage that the pods can share, or even the containers can share, and many things running, the networking, everything, you know, running for us. So this is, I mean, since everything, it's you have the feeling that it's that everything it's like 1,000 pieces, you know. Somehow everything is working, but you have to figure out how, and this is probably the most difficult task. So definitely, I will say that you need to have a real professional experience with this, because otherwise you wouldn't understand even what Kubernetes is for in the first place.
Yeah, so that it's until you really have contact with it in the sense of being a user that it's going to just seem way too conceptual or just too far out there.
Yeah, well, maybe you can pass the exam, you know, because if you practice a lot, you are going to pass the exam for sure. But this doesn't mean that you are going to understand how it works behind the scenes, and the reasons behind every component. And well, maybe you can pass the exam, but you are not going to be prepared for working with Kubernetes in a production environment anyway.
All right, very good. And in that sense as well too, just ask both of you, how many months did you spend preparing, Carlos?
Well, really preparing, I've been practicing more or less like 6 months ago, an average of 2 hours per day, apart from my working
And where you're learning as well in a very hands-on way, you know, I mean, like that does count, but
Yeah.
additionally,
Yes,
spending that
exactly.
time. Yeah. Okay.
Additionally, completely focus on preparing the exam, more or less 2 hours. Well, both of the certification. I mean, this is what I'm always saying, that preparing for one certification helped you a lot for the next one. So yes, in total for both certification, more or less 6 months.
Okay. And in Echo, you did it in 6 days.
No.
No, but how long did it take you? How long?
No, not really. Well, it's hard to say because I didn't focus especially on this. You know, I bought the exam, or the right to the exam in the previous Black Friday, so a year ago, something like that. But I haven't been studying for a year. I mean, I don't know. I had my good moments where I spent a lot of time with this, and also many months of total blackout. So it's really hard to say.
Well, 2020, you picked a pretty good year.
Yeah, well, yeah. We have been at home a lot of time to study. Yeah.